Hello, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Michelle McDonagh. I'm the registered dietitian with the Freighter CF Clinic. I'm just going to take a few minutes to review nutrition for CF in the era of highly effective modulators. The traditional CF diet has long been high calorie, high fat, and that is in order to achieve the optimal BMI, body mass index, of 22 for women and 23 for men. That goal was set based on the association seen in the national database between people who had that goal BMI already and their lung function. So those BMI goals are associated with better lung function. And in order to get there, calorie needs have been estimated at 1.5 to 2 times that of the general population. So for most people with CF, it's been a lifetime of diet to promote weight gain from an early age. So naturally, over time, you would develop an affinity for high-fat foods. So in clinical trials, weight gain has been a benefit of the CFTR modulators. Kalydeco has been available since 2012, so there is more data available on its effects. And Virginia Stallings and her group even investigated the mechanisms for the weight gain associated with ivacaftor. And they found that it was a combination of reduced REE, so reduced resting energy expenditures, so the calories needed while we're not active, reduction in gut inflammation, and also an improvement in fat absorption, reduction in the coefficient of fat absorption. On this slide, I want to compare the weight gain that has been seen with each of the modulators. And we're going to do so by our example person here. She is 5'4", has a weight of 110 pounds, and therefore has a body mass index of 18.6. So the STRIVE study that looked at ivacaftor, for that study, there was a 2.8 kilo gain after 6 months and 2.7 after 48 weeks. So not much difference after the first 6 months. So that translated into a 5.9 pound gain for our sample person. With Orkambi, body mass index increased 0.1 by 0.1%. And in the second study, it was 0.4% in the first 6 months. So really that translated to, for our person, a 0.7 to 2.4 pound weight gain. So not as impressive as with Kalydeco. And then with Teziva or Symdeco, for our sample person, they found at 6 months that it was a 0.35 pound weight gain, so negligible. And our last modulator here, the Trikafta, it was equivalent to the Kalydeco with a 5.9 pound weight gain in 6 months. Vertex are in the midst of the Trikafta extension study where they're going to follow participants for 192 weeks. And they have shared their interim analysis data. I included a link to the brochure here. But I just want to focus on the effect on weight. You can find the rest of the information, though, at the link. So if we look at the picture here, the pink line are the participants from trial 1 who had Trikafta from the onset, and then it extends into the extension study the following 6 months where they remain on Trikafta. And then the gray line are the placebo group from trial 1, and then it extends into the dotted pink line because they start Trikafta after 6 months. And so what they found was that there was 1 BMI percentage gain for the first 6 months on the Trikafta group. And then as they extend into the following 6 months into the extension trial, the weight gain slows. So it was 0.3 kilos weight gain for the extension. And the placebo group that from trial 1 then started on Trikafta, they had similar trend in weight compared to the Trikafta group. And they do include an example here at the bottom. So their sample person weighed 130 pounds, is 5 foot tall at baseline, may gain about 6 pounds in the first 6 months of treatment, and then may go on to gain an additional 3 pounds in the next 6 months. So potentially 9 pounds in a year. So with these results, it may be time for us to reconsider the CF diet. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, they are the overseeing body for dietitians in the nation. And they completed an evidence analysis library review of cystic fibrosis and nutrition in 2017, 2018. And there some of their conclusions were that based on the diet, the high-fat, high-calorie diet, there is an overconsumption of energy-dense, so high-calorie, nutrient-poor foods with generally poor diet quality. And they're recommending application of population-based dietary guidance. So eat more of the fruits and vegetables, whole grains that are recommended to the general population. So it's time for us to look at balanced nutrition and make that more of a primary focus rather than calories, adding fat. So for our basic diet, we want to include fruits and vegetables throughout the day, proteins with meals, so lean meats, fish, poultry, nuts, seeds, and beans. For the grains and starches group, we should consider making half of our grains whole grain to increase dietary fiber, and including dairy, of course, for bone health. And the CF weight gain need remains for many. I mean, not everybody gains weight on Trikafta, and many aren't eligible. So we do have to consider calorie-dense foods as well. Healthy, high-calorie foods I've listed out here as seeds, nuts, peanut butter, dried fruit, granola, avocado, dips, hummus. And then considering adding butter, olive oil, Parmesan cheese as ways to add calories to the vegetables in our basic diet. And of course, there's still room, if weight gain is the goal, to include nutritional shakes and supplements to really boost the calories of our basic overall balanced diet. So weight gain, I mean, has been a great thing for many. And as I said before, not everybody has gained weight on modulators. From my experience in our clinic, we've had people that have even lost a few pounds, particularly in the circumstance where they're feeling better, lung function's improved, exercising more, and may lose weight. But also we've seen people gain up to 30 pounds. So it's just a variety depending on the person. So I encourage our patients to monitor their weight. A weekly weight is fine. It doesn't have to be every day. just to make sure that things are on track. If you find that you are gaining excess weight more than you wanted, it no longer makes sense to follow the high-fat diet. So it may be time to make some lifestyle changes, which are not always the easiest thing to do. But just try to include some tips here. One of the most effective things when you are trying to change your lifestyle is to set SMART goals. And SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So set goals that you know you can achieve and make it so you have to stick to it. Make it simple enough so you can stick to it. So an example would be if I wanted to really work on increasing my vegetable intake, I could set myself a goal of I'm going to make sure that I have a vegetable included with my lunch and dinner every day for the next month, and then reevaluate. Physical activity, of course, is going to be important, particularly if you're trying to lose weight, but in general for longevity, physical activity is so key. Be patient with yourself. Lifestyle changes aren't easy, and particularly when for several decades you've been advised to live a certain way, adding high fat, high calorie foods to your diet. So be patient with yourself. And work with your CF team. We are here to help. Reach out to us. Lastly, I just wanted to touch on the medication side of nutrition. So even if somebody has gained weight on the modulators and they feel like it's too much and want to try and lose weight, it's still important to take your modulator with a fat-containing food so it is effective. So even if you're cutting back on fat elsewhere throughout your day, make sure you continue to take the modulators with fat. So peanut butter or nuts. If you take it with dairy, make sure it's not fat-free milk, skim milk or fat-free yogurt. Make sure that product has fat in it. It's important to continue with your fat-soluble vitamin supplementation, even though you're on modulators. And as far as enzyme dosing goes, it's important to communicate with your team if you've noticed a change in your bowel function and want to potentially make some adjustments. Definitely do not just stop enzymes, because it can put you at risk for vitamin deficiencies and a whole host of problems over the long term. Thank you very much for tuning in today. These are my references, the studies that I mentioned. Please send questions in via email, and I will be available for questions during our live discussion session. Thank you.